As parents, we feel it, and we hear it, and we've seen the emails too. So I know, Corey, I really appreciate you and your team are doing everything to plan for the scenarios, and just elaborate on that a little bit more.
Well, I think the best we can do right now is continue to communicate about the process we're entering into, because we won't have a decision till mid-July at the earliest, and that even is risky if the state were to come at the mid or late part of the month and tell us to do something different. So we're all feeling that frustration. I wish I had the answer today. You're getting the questions, I'm getting the questions. Our building leaders are getting them right just constantly, right? And there's disappointment that we won't have a stronger set of guidance, earlier than that. So we're literally going to plan 3 different models. We're going to have, that's the best we can do right now, not knowing exactly where we'll land. I think the upside to that is if we get forced into one of those 3 models, we'll have a plan for each of the 3 versus just planning for one. But that's a pretty rapid timeline to map all that out um, in a matter of about 5 weeks. And during a time when most people are usually kind of taking a little breather in the summer and getting ready for the next school year. So that's just not going to be possible for this team right now. So um, that's about the best answer I got for you right now as far as our launching the work that we have here. I might keep talking with, the survey is one way to get some feedback. I was listening to Brian and Michael talk, and maybe there's some ways we can do some focus groups remotely like we're doing now between now and mid-July. It's a little trickier, I think, in the summer, but I don't know if everyone's traveling as much as they usually would be. So we might have better luck doing some of those input kind of sessions that help inform our planning
Mhm.
on what people are expecting or looking for.
Well, and even if we can have some work session time so that the public can see that what the survey outcomes are and um, what the community is saying about how they're feeling about distance learning and what their needs are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, Director Douglas, do you have any questions for Superintendent McIntyre?
Um, I I guess yes. The whole thing is really complex, right? And I get that, and I understand that. And I know that our staff have been working overtime during this COVID situation, and rapidly changing based on governor's orders. But I've heard there's some things that I've been hearing within the community that concern me about our upcoming school year. Um, I think that a lot of people within our community, because we are one of the largest school districts, expect us to lead the way, and are unhappy with the direction that our governor has taken. And I don't know what that means for us and how we proceed, but I think that it's really important that we look at the World Health Organization's recommendations and the CDC's recommendations as we plan for what our school year might look like next year, and also consider how important it is for students to have community building relationships. Um, the isolation that our students are experiencing right now is compounding the experiences that they're having in other areas of their life. And so I think that, um, obviously, if the governor makes an order that we stay home, then we have to abide by those orders. But if there's a way for us to lead the way and create a plan that allows for our students to return to school safely, that would be ultimately the goal here. And so, and I know you guys are working on that, but our families are really they're really coming together and saying, hey, this was fine for a while, but now we need something different, and next year we need something different. And I've heard a lot of talk of people homeschooling and doing co-ops and starting charter schools and doing things differently. And I don't want to see families leaving our district when we have so much to offer. So I just would put that out there.
Thank you, Director Douglas. Director Dawson Walton.
I just think we have to be careful not to blame our governor, and I'm getting into political kind of stuff. I think that Corey and I were on the AMSD call. God, was that like 3 weeks ago, Corey? And I mean, I think we both were like, oh my gosh, because it was really clear MDE is taking a lot, they're trying to balance MDH's, their recommendations, and they're, trying to honor, I mean, all the different school districts, and, the need, of course, to be together and have our students have normalcy. And then we had this great conversation, and then they were like, I mean, the likelihood will, that we anticipate, I think they said July 31st, like, I mean, as like a time where they would have some recommendations. So I think that, I think that was a really good point, Chair Ostafi, just about like, how are we just continuing to communicate with our families? Because I think we're all getting a lot of questions around that. And I think I mean, there's not a lot of options. There's only so many things I think we can actually do. And there's kind of pros and cons to both, right? And so that's all I don't have a lot of other comments besides
Yeah,
that.
thank you, Kelsey. And I would add, we all want the same thing. We want to be back in school. We want the best learning is there. We know the experience we had this spring was not ideal, and we had to do that so quickly. One of the things I think we did kind of take a bit of a risk on was we did take that hybrid model and use it this summer. Many districts chose to not even go that far, and really try to bring students in even on a smaller scale. So I think we're getting by, we're students are getting good learning this summer, just being back in our classrooms, and then that's really going to also potentially help us with our planning moving forward. So I wish I had a better way to reduce some of the frustration around it, and I'm really taking to heart what you're all saying around whatever we can share without over promising or committing and having to back down from. But if we can keep people up to date on our process, that might help. And I share what Director Douglas and others have said. We want our students back. We share that passion with our families. I know I do as a parent. I want my kids back in school. It's legit. So we just need to be able to do it safely and in a way that is still really strong from a learning standpoint. And I think what you'll likely see in July when we come to you is a plan for each of those three scenarios. If things shift on us into the next school year, we're ready for any of those potential things that could happen to us. So I wish I had a little bit more, but right now we're going to launch this and get into the work and come back to you with a plan for feedback in July. And if we get it done before that, that's even better. We'll do our best to do that.
Thank you, Corey. And well, I want to go to Jackie. You're the last one up.
Thank you. I've been hearing similar things as some of my fellow board members, particularly frustration on the survey that there wasn't enough room for comments. And I understand that, given that we had to do 2 surveys in quick succession, and I appreciate the work of our staff members, because I know that's a difficult thing to do. So the question that I was going to ask, that I think, Corey, you actually addressed, is if I have a few people that wanted to give me lengthy feedback and ideas for changes for the fall, if it is a hybrid or distance learning model. And so just to put it out in the public, do you want people to email? Do you want what would be the best way for people who have specific feedback to get that to the people that need it to make the best decisions for our families?
Well, yeah, right off the bat, those are ways they can already do that. So that'd be good. That's an automatic. Yes, email helps. I'm gonna, as I'm listening to, thinking, I'll talk with Barb about how can we maybe add something on our website where people could go. It's another place to go and just provide input or feedback in addition to the survey. And thinking of that fourth piece of maybe some focus groups too would be another way. So maybe I'm thinking of 4 or 5 different ways we could do this over the next 4 to 5 weeks. It's a quick turnaround.
Right.
So you've given me some ideas just by your comments here that we'll see what we can put together.
And the
The
email
other
ad.
thing, oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, just to build on that, the email address for administrative items to get to Corey and to get to staff, since the staff is going to be building on this in the next 6 weeks, is we listen at district279.org. So I'll put that out there. So Jackie, go ahead, please.
I appreciate that. And then just another plug to make sure that we're capturing voices that aren't always heard when we gather that feedback, because I'd hate to make the decision, make decisions based on input from people who have the ability to email or the time or whatever. So if there's a way we can capture people's voices that haven't been heard, just felt the need to say that once again. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Director Mosqueda Jones. Director Simons, I think you had another question.
No, it's been answered. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just looking at people's mics on or off. So with that, Corey, do you have any other final thoughts or?
No, I'll do my best to keep you updated and can keep asking questions, keep that dialogue going. It's uncharted waters right now. There's no blueprint for how to do this moving into next year, and we would have had next year's planning done months ago. So to be starting now, we're all a little anxious, but I will say we have an amazing team, and we have been tested already this spring, and we've learned a lot. Some things have worked and other things really haven't. And so that's a huge learning piece for us, and then we're only going to be better for it. So I'm actually kind of excited about what we're going to be able to do.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we've wrapped up our main agenda items. The next one is adjournment. And with that, we are adjourned for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us. Thank you, everyone listening in. Take care.
Thank you.